How are you guys doing today? My name is Anima, and today we have a post-commentated Pokemon ORAS Wi-Fi battle for you all, this time against Valqori, the very important and very threatening sounding name. Your Twitter link will be in the description down below, folks, so if you enjoy this battle, feel free to check my opponent out sexually. That was a very weird and awkward thing to say, I'm very sorry about that. Anyway, there'll be a question of the day at the end of the video, my ladies and gentlemen, if you are into that sort of thing. So, we've got a pretty interesting team. I did decide to use a Grumpig and a Seviper at a lovely subscriber's request, and they're pretty cool. I wanted to use like an Assault Vest Grumpig, and it was working out, you know. Just need to be smarter with it, in my opinion. And Seviper's been doing crazy kinds of work. I do really like Seviper right now. I think Seviper's pretty damn crazy. I do like Coil, even though I'm not really that inclined towards setup, but it's been pretty fun, yeah. We've got like our lead offensive Excelgor with the U-turn. We've got the Giga Drain and Bug Buzz and all that kind of jazz. Focus Sash just so we can live. Not the spikes, we kind of bluffed that a little bit, I suppose, because of the lead situation, so that's cool. We've got a Choice Scarf Basket, which nobody seems to see coming at all. And it's pretty interesting. We're Choice Scarf Adamant, so we do have that little bit more firepower than Choice Scarf Jolly. And Bastion's got pretty decent speed, so it's cool. We have that just so I got a little bit more speed on this team, you know what I'm saying? And you might say, well, Anima, why would you run a Choice Scarf Basket in if it has Aqua Jet? Well, you don't need to worry about that. We also have a physically defensive Miltank just because we need a big fat cow to take hits and whatnot. So my opponent does have a Ludicolo and a Seismitoad, which points to there being a little rain synergy there, and that really scares me. Because Seismitoad under rain with Life Orb is a beast, and I don't even want to dream about it. I've got to be careful about the Seismitoad, need it to die before I can go for Waterfalls with my Basculin willy-nilly. The Audino is a bit scary as well, but I do have my Seviper who can deal with it. The Sork is scary as fuck. Squawk is the scariest Pokemon on Earth. I don't know, it's pretty scary. But the Kling Clang made me really upset, and Miss Magus' power, so whatever. Let's just hit play, and you're gonna see precisely what I saw, ladies and gentlemen. Goodness bloody gracious, is Kling Clang a scary Pokemon? Anyway, so my opponent is going to lead with their Seismitoad, as I lead with Booker DeWitt, the Excelgor. So we're here and we're queer, and I don't know, I don't know why I say weird things like that. But anyway, we're going to go for the Giga Drain, which is 4 times super effective. My opponent didn't actually switch out, but I didn't want to over-predict, so I just went straight for that Giga Drain to try and do 4 times effective damage. And to my eternal surprise and worry and disdain, this thing actually manages to hang on with the barest sliver of HP, just enough to get their rocks up, and that's upsetting because I don't have a spinner. So that's probably why my opponent just decided to stay in there, knowing they could take any one hit, and that is any one hit apparently. So I'm going to go for Bug Buzz just in case my opponent decides to switch, and they do. They go into Nitori. I'm not sure what my opponent was considering when they went into this Pokemon, just because I'm an Excelgor and I have Bug Buzz. But, you know, with maybe if I'd gone for the Giga Drain again, just trying to finish off the Seismitoad with that, maybe if I was locked in, which Excelgors sometimes are, there could have been a situation there, and my opponent would have been able to fake out and set up rain, and oh god, it would have just been absolute cringe. So out comes Gears of War, and I was immediately afraid of this thing. I was like, what the hell is this thing doing in NU? It's just scary. So it's going to go for the Shift Gear, and it's going to sharply raise its speed and attack, which is just... Oh no, sharply raise speed but raises attack by 1. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. That's okay, so Shift Gear is not quite as scary as I thought it was. Either way, it's still pretty fucking scary. So I decided to just stay in because I don't want to switch in my Miltank on a gear grind and be weakened for this thing. I want it to be as fat and healthy as possible to be able to deal with it, because nobody on my team can actually deal with this Pokemon, I noticed. Once its speed is up, we can't do anything to it. So my thinking here is to go into my big fat cow, flatten my boobs against it, and then go into like my Bastion, maybe Aqua Jet and stuff, and try and mess around with Sucker Punch and my Cacturne, and just try and mess around with what priority I have to kill this monster, because once it's set up, I can't do anything to it. So there's the substitute, as I just go straight for the Seismic Toss. I don't want to mess around with this thing, I just want to try and do as much damage to it as possible. Seismic Toss isn't going to do that much, but my opponent was probably scouting for the Earthquake, if I had it, which Miltanks can carry, because Miltank's just crazy. So he's going to get his lefty's recovery, as am mine. We're just chewing on our apples and being all around just complete what's the word, gluttons actually. So he's going to go for a gear grind and miss, and I was like, oh my god, thank you. And this is great. This is honestly really great for me. Gear grind has the accuracy of Fire Blast, so I don't really feel bad about my opponent missing. It's those base 90 moves that are just ridiculous when they miss. It's just like, what the hell, seriously? So that was really lucky for me, and it's gonna put this thing in like the nice comfortable yellow, which I'm so happy about. I can survive any one hit from this thing and go for another seismic toss. So that's precisely what I do, because I don't want to mess about with this gigantic threat. So even if Dark Magician, the imposing threat in the background, can come in on a seismic toss easily, I don't even mind. I really don't. I really can't complain. So I do decide just to stay in, because I know, as I said, I can take Diddle can take pretty much any one hit from anything. So there's the Dazzling Gleam. It doesn't do more than half, but it does a lot, so I'm inclined to believe this thing might be Specs. So my opponent went for the Dazzling Gleam, predicting my Cacturne to potentially come in on the Shadow Ball, I suspect. So yeah, there comes the Dazzling Gleam again, as I went for my rocks the previous turn. We're going to go for Milk Drink right now, just to make sure my cow is nice and healthy, to deal with that Cling Clang, just in case it wants to come in and ruin my life at some point later on in the future. So we're going to get our lefties once again, and it's all beautiful and it's all amazing. But you know, I can't sit here and take Dazzling Gleams forever. We need to do and get some momentum somehow. I don't have any status on my Miltank. Seismic Toss is my only damaging move, and I can't touch this thing. I'm thick, fat, not scrappy. So we're going to go into Ghost to eat up the Dazzling Gleam. So let's see how much damage this actually does. Honestly, I say eat up, but I mean that in like a light kind of way, as in we still got kind of mega bitched by it. But you know, it's not enough to like destroy me, so we're all good for the most part. So I really struggled with, I had like a heart attack, I had like a full-on conniption when I picked this move. I went for Earthquake actually, really hoping and praying my opponent would switch out, and if he didn't switch out I would have been in a bit of a pickle, because he would have just spammed Dazzling Gleam until I died. And yeah, Ghost is not that bulky. We don't have the bulk to deal with a lot of hits, just certain hits, just fairy hits. So yeah, tits really. But we do manage to take out the Seismitoad. I was really hoping that the Cling Clang would come in to potentially take the Poison Fang, but that was the best play my opponent could have made going into the Seismitoad, as they did. Plus, if I'd gone for the Poison type move, it would have resisted anyway, so it's kind of a good situation for them. So I went into my Magic Bacon, hoping and expecting a close combat, but no, my opponent is going to go straight for the knockoff, and that is going to destroy my Bacon. I'm very sad about that, but I go into Crow, and this is pretty much a test just to see if this thing is banded, is choiced in some way. And at this point, I don't know if it's banded or scarfed or anything like that. But from it switching out, I do know it is choiced in some way. Otherwise, the close combat would have destroyed my life. So we go for the Seed Bomb on the out switch, as my opponent goes into this Ordino, and no items, so this thing is clearly a Mega Ordino. And I don't know how I feel about Mega Ordino right now. I do need to use one. I do have some sets that have been suggested to me by you lovely people, and I do want to try them out. But Ordino isn't looking that amazing to me right now. I don't mean any hate, this is just from how I've seen it perform so far. So we're going to go for that Seed Bomb on Gears of War, and that thing is going to come back out and give me nightmares. And I was deliberating over this play for a little bit, because I thought my opponent might try and go for the Shift Gear, predicting me to go for Sucker Punch, and then maybe try and get like a little, you know, they do a lot of damage to my team if they manage to get up that little bit more firepower potentially. So I just went for the Seed Bomb just in case. Unfortunately, that that does result in the loss of my Cacturne, but my paranoia over this thing setting up was just too damn high, because I don't really have anything for it. So I'm going to go into my Burrit Bill and just go straight for the Waterfall, because this thing does not have any increases, so we can take it out with this Waterfall, which is so extremely nice. Now that the Seismitoad is gone, we can freely spam water type moves, which is amazing. So out comes Who's Your Daddy once again, and I'm honestly very uncomfortable by that name on an Ordino. It's just like, Who's Your Daddy? And it's like this really cute little elephant pink thing. It's not really an elephant. What is it? I don't know what the ears are. I'm not really sure. Anyway, of course this thing is going to Mega Evolve and do fairy type things. So we're going to go straight into Ghost, our poison type, our venomous snake, as my opponent does indeed reveal the Mega Evolution. Ordino's eyes changing colour because of the fucking psychopath. And it's going to go for the Dazzling Gleam. Why does this thing not get Moonblast? Does it not get Moonblast? Are you serious? Anyway, we're going to take that, and Mega Ordino's speed is just 50. It's just 50. So my Ghost can outspeed and go for the Poison Jab. and this is going to come just shy of taking it out, but that's okay. We do get the crit. It doesn't really matter ultimately, because as you're going to see, this hidden power is not going to be enough. Hidden power ground, I assume, is not going to be enough to take out Ghost, because again, without Calm Mind or anything, Mega Audino's stats are not that amazing. It's fairly bulky, but its stats just aren't good without it getting boosted. So we're going to take it out with the second poison jab. And that's going to be all hunky-dory. I was kind of concerned about this thing. Ghost was the only thing that I had to take it down. And yeah, I was pretty glad that it was dead. So out comes 3 fingers. And I actually switched into my Miltank. I know what you're thinking. It's like the normal, why are you switching your normal type Pokemon in on this thing? So I was kind of expecting him to go for like Earthquake or Knockoff or something like that. So instead of going straight for the close combat, which would weaken him, his defenses and special defenses, I didn't expect him to go for the close combat, and he does go for the knockoff. So he is definitely beyond a shadow of a doubt choice at this point. So I'm going to use my lefties, but it doesn't really matter. We're going to go for the milk drink, I believe, because I wanted at some point to force the Sork to have to go for a close combat. I didn't want it to ever be able to go for anything else. And this is because I wanted it to have a special defense and defense drop later on. So out comes this thing, and I'm gonna decide to fodder my Ghost right now, because Ghost isn't gonna be able to outspeed the Sork or this thing anymore. So my Snake is not gonna be able to do anything, but my opponent is gonna go for the Power Gem, locking himself into that. He cannot go for his strongest move, which is Shadow Ball, because I have my normal type Cow on the field. So it's a bit weird because neither of us can really touch each other depending on what he goes for. So I'm gonna go into Bullet Bill, and we're gonna go for the Waterfall. I was concerned this might not take it out, but Adaptability Adamant Waterfall is going to be just enough to take down the Dark Magician. Honestly, Basculin is such a powerful Pokemon, I really do love it. It's just pretty crazy. So out comes 3 fingers. I needed this thing to lock itself into close combat and get the defense drops, otherwise I would not have been able to take it down. A choice banded Basculin maybe would have been able to take it down, but I needed this thing to have a drop before my Basculin would have been able to take it out. Plus, at this point, I know he's choice, but I don't know if he's scarfed or banded, so he's going to go for that close combat, and I'm going to get those drops that I craved so much. And this is cool, this is great, but I was still kind of sweating at this point because it all came down to if he was like Jolly scarfed or Adamant scarfed, or you know, if he wasn't scarfed at all and he was banded. But thankfully he doesn't outspeed my Basculin, and we are going to be able to take him out with the Waterfall. So he was choiced. I don't know if he was scarfed or banded, and if he was Adamant scarfed, then my Basculin did outspeed him very nicely, regardless of our mutual scarf situation. So that is going to be the game. So thank you so much, Valqori, for the challenge. And that was a challenge that that definitely made me sweat that game. That was very scary towards the end there with the Sork. Just being able to rip through my team so well. Oh god, Sork, you're just so scary. If you want to use a powerful threat in NU, I do suggest you go for a Sork, because they're just fucking scary and they will just laugh and drink up your tears. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, today's question of the day is going to be, what is a Pokemon that consistently seems to surprise you with how powerful it ends up being? So, for me personally, I'd probably say Roserade, because that thing has just been surprising me so much lately. If you've been seeing our battles lately, we've been using Pamela, and she's just been tearing shit up. She is crazy. Roserade with Life Orb, Giga Drain, or Leaf Storm, or Technician Roserade is just a scary Pokemon, and I never see how much damage she's gonna do until it's too late and everybody I love is dead. So yeah guys, so that's what's a Pokemon that consistently seems to surprise you with how strong it ends up being? This is a Pokemon you faced or a Pokemon you've used. Feel free to answer with either or both, in fact. But thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon, my friends. Bye bye.